Welcome to the Bywords Show. I'm your host, Hannah Hughes. Bywords is all about equipping women for purposeful living by starting conversations, celebrating stories, and inspiring faith. In a world that applauds the hustle, I'm here to help you break free from the lies and come back to what really matters. It's time to get real, get rooted in truth, and come alive in relationship with Jesus so you can show up to each day with intention and confidence no matter where you're at in your story. Here we believe that embracing our stories brings hope, healing, and purpose to the process, and sharing our stories helps others do the same. Whether you're looking for a midweek faith refresh, practical tools for pursuing your dreams, or just need some good old-fashioned girl talk, you're in the right place. Grab your latte and let's dive in. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Bywords Show. Today is the day. I'm so glad you're here with me. And you guys, we got some big news to share today. I am so excited to finally tell you and just share a little bit about our story and what's led us to this point. So before we dive in, I would love it if you would take a screenshot of this episode, share it, tag me to let me know you were here. I love getting to see who's listening. And then I have a favor to ask. If you don't mind, would you please leave a review? If you love listening to the Bywords Show, if you love me, if you want more content like this, it would mean the world to me if you would pause really quickly to go and take a few seconds to leave a rating and a written review for the show. It helps us be able to reach more women, and it would just mean the world to me. So thank you in advance for taking the time to do that. And then let's dive in because I have something big to share with you. Our big news is that we are saying goodbye to Texas and we are moving to Colorado. It's been such a long time coming. It's been a long journey. It's been a hard journey. It's been an exciting journey, and it's finally here. In fact, today, this episode will come out while we are moving into our new place in Colorado, which is crazy. Oh my goodness, where do I even begin? Well, first of all, I'm sure a lot of you will be asking the same question that most people ask us when we have told them, why Colorado? And basically, we love it. There's lots of reasons, but the short answer is we love it so much there. We also have family there. My brother and his wife and their kids live there, and we travel to see them all the time. We're very close with them, and they actually have daughters that are close to our son's age. They'll get to go to school together in the fall and be in the same class. It's going to be so fun for them. But also, Christopher, my husband, his business is starting to take off in Colorado. If you didn't know, he's a wedding and elopement photographer. He is just the best. Like, he is so perfect for photography, wedding photography especially. He's one of those people that like nothing stresses him. Like, to me, I could not take the pressure of trying to get everything perfect on a wedding day over and over and over and over and over again. For him, he's like, I love it. Let's just have fun. I'm here for you guys. It's great. But he has really started to build this client base in Colorado, and it has just been really amazing to see his business take off. He actually travels to Colorado all the time already. So we thought, it seems like a natural transition. If we were going to move anywhere, let's try Colorado. So backing up a little bit, you may know if you've listened to some of last year's episodes where I was talking about, especially in Della's birth story episode, we were actually supposed to buy a house. We have been living in this barn dominium for the past 6.5 years. And while we've loved the space and the location, being on my parents' property, it's been so fun, especially for our kids to be close to their grandparents. It has had its challenges, of course, and we just feel ready to move to the next season of our lives, next chapter for our family. And we were so hopeful that it was going to be with the house we were going to buy in September. However, 3 days before we were supposed to close on that house, everything fell apart, everything fell through, and there was basically nothing we could do to make it work. And we tried after we lost that house to, figure something else out. Like, should we try to buy a different house? Should we try a different location? Should we try, all these different scenarios went through our heads, and we were trying to figure out, okay, like what basically is going on? What is going on? We feel like this was a closed door. Everything on paper was perfect, and then it all fell apart. So we were like, okay, Lord, what are you doing here? It has to be this or something better, which my mom always says. She always prays that. So we just really said, okay, Lord, like, show us what's best for us then in this season. And as we started to pray and process through that, the first thing we noticed is that Christopher and I felt peace about the house falling through. Like, I really thought we would be devastated. And of course, it was a big bummer. Like, we were sad. Don't get me wrong. I was really sad that we didn't get the house. We were really excited just to start our lives in a new place, having Della, having a nursery for her. And when something like that doesn't work out, you feel really disappointed. But in the midst of that, we both felt okay with the loss, which was our first sign that God was preparing us for something else. So, as we began to process and pray through that, we kept thinking about our options because, our kids are young. We aren't tied down anywhere. Like, I can work from anywhere, I can podcast from anywhere. And Christopher travels a lot already for his photography business. So, we just started thinking, okay, well, what if we moved overseas for a while? Like, we love to travel. What if we just did a year somewhere else and then saw how it went? And then the more we thought about that, I was like, I really love the idea, but long term overseas, I think would be really hard at this stage in our life. Maybe not. So then we started thinking, okay, well, should we look somewhere else, like closer to the Metroplex? Like, we live outside of the Dallas Fort Worth area. So we thought, okay, well, Christopher does a lot of shoots centrally in that area. So maybe we could move to Dallas, like Dallas proper. And we thought about that and didn't feel right. And then we just decided, okay, looking at where we're at this season of our lives, we really have the freedom to choose and to try anything we want. So if we could go anywhere, where would we go? And we both really have felt we've both just really fallen in love with Colorado over the years since we've been traveling to visit my family there. So we just decided, well, why don't we try Colorado? So as we started the process of looking at Colorado and figuring out logistics for all of that, things just started falling into place. It's crazy, you guys. Like, it's one of those things where, and I was just talking to my friend Jenna about this the other day. Basically, everything I was talking about in the previous episode is waiting for the right thing keeping you stuck came from this place of processing our move, because we got to a point where we were like, we don't feel a clear direction from God, like very specifically about where we're supposed to move, but obviously God cares about it. So what do we do? Is it one of those situations where we just need to make a choice and take a step and he'll bless it? Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes you just need to choose and God will bless it and he will, make a way. And that's what started happening. It's so wild. Like, Christopher and I were talking about it after we actually decided, okay, we're going to pursue moving to Colorado. Things just started happening that we were like, whoa, we feel like just making the decision was the breakthrough we needed, because then he started getting connected to all kinds of people in the wedding industry in Colorado. And I started connecting with people in Colorado. It's crazy. Like, I have a friend that I met in Texas in 2020 who moved to the same city that my brother and his wife are in. And so she's out there, and I have some friends from social media and even who have been on my podcast who are in the same city or in the Denver area. Like, it is just wild how God is already preparing us and has been connecting us. And I mean, I'll be really transparent. It's a little bit terrifying for me because I've never lived anywhere besides Texas long term. And I love traveling, but the idea of being far from family all the time, starting completely from scratch. Well, I guess not completely from scratch, because we do know some people out there because we go a lot. So it is somewhere, if we were going to move anywhere, I feel like this was the perfect spot because it's at least somewhat familiar and we have connections out there, but still it's scary, like leaving everything that's comfortable and familiar to go somewhere totally new and start a new life. I mean, taking kids, new schools, new friends, new church, new everything, new community, and just relearning what it looks like to operate as a family in a completely new place is a little bit scary, but we feel so much peace. And that has been the driving force in this decision on the days when I stop and think, what in the world are we getting ourselves into? Like, can we actually do this? Are we crazy for just leaving everything that we know and just going somewhere new? And then I remind myself, well, people do this all the time, but that doesn't make it easier or less scary for me. But even in those spiraling thoughts of worry and fear of the unknown, we both have so much peace. Basically, the timeline of this behind the scenes has looked like September, our house fell through. Around the end of the year, we started praying and asking the Lord to show us and give us vision for this year and the next steps for our family and for our businesses as well. So around January, we decided, okay, well, what about Colorado? In February, we went to go and look at places and we fell in love. We found the perfect spot. And it is just honestly going to be a dream come true to, number one, live somewhere so beautiful. Colorado, I mean, is a dream. The weather is beautiful. The scenery is beautiful. The culture is great. Everybody is just, it's fun. Like we'll be able to be outside all summer long, but also like living somewhere that has windows. That's not a barn dominium, like just change of scenery. I feel like will be so helpful and healthy for our family as well. Like I've just thought through so much of this, and one of the sweetest things for me, honestly, which is kind of a little tangent, but maybe it'll encourage you if you're in a season of transition or praying through something like this with the Lord. One of the sweetest things for me that helped me with my fear, thinking about moving and like transplanting our kids somewhere totally new, was thinking about where we were going to go to church and just dreaming about like, okay, we can't wait to get plugged in somewhere and meet new people and make new friends. And obviously that's hard at first. It's uncomfortable to start from scratch with your people. But then I started thinking, how cool is it and how wild is it to think that God prepared us for this, not only just for me and for Christopher and our business and our life and whatever, but also for our kids. Like there's a whole world of people who will love our kids, who will support our kids and teach our kids and love us as parents and help us. And that to me just like made my heart so full it could have burst. It's just amazing to think like, wow, God is preparing not only a place for us to live and to be, but also preparing us to make connections in our business, new people that we get to love, new connections that we get to make with, like our community and organizations that we can give back to and serve with and learn about, and just ways that we can get involved in like, it's just so much bigger than us, I guess, is what I'm getting at. And I have just thought about it that way. And for me, that has made it a little less scary because although it's going to be really unknown and new territory for us, especially for me, like I said, because I've never been anywhere besides home in Texas, we just feel really excited to see what God has in store for us. And just, it's crazy thinking about like a year from now, who will be our people? Like, where will we be? Who will we know? Where will we be going to church and connecting with people? And who knows what dreams will come back to life in us, or new dreams, new ideas, new opportunities that God will bring just because we are willing to say yes and go, like take a leap of faith as a family and just, put all our hope on God's goodness. And I mean, this is the thing too. I feel like making a big decision like this is sometimes scary too, because it's like, well, what if we make this move and it's wrong? We have thought about that. I should say I've thought about that a lot. And to me, it's just like, what's the worst that could happen? We go out there, we don't love it, we come back to Texas. Like, okay, like that's fine. Like there's nothing to lose. I feel like when you're in a season like this, for us specifically, at least, because our kids are not rooted in school yet. They don't have a community where it would be really hard to take them away from their friends right now. And I don't know. We just feel like, if we were going to do it and try something new, now is the time. So we're just going to go for it. So that's what's been going on in our lives. I just cannot believe it. It's felt like a dream for so long. And now that it's actually happening, like currently in May, we've been packing and preparing and getting everything ready to go. And it just feels so real. I honestly don't know what to expect. I can probably guess that there will be a lot of hard days, a lot of tears, a lot of just discomfort as we adjust to this new place and not having our parents around us and not, like rebuilding a support system and a community. It's going to be a lot, but I am just so excited and ready for what God has for us. It's so interesting. As we started to process this, I actually told some of my closest friends at my birthday dinner in November that we were starting to think and pray about moving to Colorado. And it was the coolest thing ever, like the sweetest response that all of my closest friends and people that we have told about this have said, we're going to miss you so much, but I know this is right. Like, I know that this is perfect for you guys. We can see you thriving there. And to me, that was so reassuring, because if your closest people can process with you a really big and hard decision like this, like thinking about saying goodbye, but then also say, this is amazing. Like, look at what God is doing. This is totally the Lord. This is so good for you guys. Like, we can see it. We know that this is God moving in your life. Like, that is just really, really special. So we feel very blessed to be leaving in this place, like leaving from this place of so much love and encouragement, support, people who have processed this decision with us, and also going into a new place where we have family and new friends waiting for us, and just getting excited to figure out what it looks like to be somewhere new in a new chapter of life. And honestly, it's so sweet, the timing as well. Like, God has been so in this, and there's so many details, more than I'll probably ever really understand. But this month is hard and special for me because it's Mother's Day. And I've shared on social media lately that it's sometimes hard for me when May comes around, because two of the babies that I lost had May due dates. And so, processing through the grief of that, while also celebrating and thanking the Lord for Della being here this year, and just the answered prayer and miracle that she is. And then also, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I've also been reflecting on my story and my journey of healing with the Lord through so many challenges in my life of mental health, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, suicide, abuse, trauma, like healing from all those things. And then now we're also transitioning, like this month and this season, I feel like for us has just been the culmination of waiting and grieving and processing and trusting the Lord. And now he's turning a new page. It's like, wow, we can sit and reflect on all of his goodness up until this point, and all of the hard up until this point, and the pain, and take it all and just say, thank you, Lord, because he's doing a new thing. And that's really the hope that we're holding on to for the hard days. And just like I said, anticipating so much goodness, and who knows what to come. But yeah, and there's the kids. So I'll wrap this up, but I love you guys. Thank you so much for being along for the ride. It's really cool. I remember recording, Jude, what is that? It's a grater. Okay, thank you. Look, I'll show my podcast friends. Thank you so much. All right, baby. I'll come back to you in just a second, okay? I love you. What? You want to say hi to the podcast friends? Do you want to tell them where we're moving? Are you excited to move to Colorado? What do you think it's going to be like? Fun? Bye-bye. Anyway, all of that to say, just thank you so much for being along on the ride with us. It's been such a journey. I remember recording the episode about Della's birth story, where everything with losing our house was fresh. And I remember recording that little bit at the end where we were still very much in the recent shock of losing everything we had put our hope in, and then realizing, okay, well, this must mean God has something else in store. And I'm just going to mark this time in our lives as a moment where we are trusting the Lord. And looking back, even, I don't know, what was that, like 6 months ago, 7, 8, I don't know. I have no concept of time. But even just looking back in the last few months to see how much God can do in such a short amount of time, when you just decide to like take a leap of faith and say, okay, Lord, well, we're all in. Let's just go on an adventure, see where it takes us. And we feel very blessed and privileged to be at a place in our life where we have the space to try something new and scary and fun and exciting. So thank you guys so much for all the prayers along the way, and for everyone who has helped us and supported us in this decision, and who has helped us prepare. And if you're in Colorado, hey, maybe we'll do a By Words Gather in Colorado. Maybe we'll do a retreat. I just am so excited for what God has in store. So anyway, I look forward to talking to you guys again soon. And you know what? This is the last time you'll see this tiny little backdrop, because next time it'll be at our new place in Colorado. So I'm excited. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to tune into another episode of the By Words Show. I love having you here, and I'm truly so thankful for your support. Don't forget to share a screenshot of this episode to let me know you were here. And quick favor, if you enjoyed this episode, would you take a second to leave a review? It really helps our community grow. If you want more, you can shop my books Waking Up and Love Is at thehannahhughes.com or on Amazon. And be sure to join my email list for all the latest news. I can't wait to chat again soon, but in the meantime, be sure to come connect with me on social media, and remember, I'm cheering you on.